Hello Muskogee Nation of Oklahoma, welcome to the Culinary Kitchen. Today we're going to be doing a fun and easy recipe called grilled balsamic pork and vegetable kebabs. I've already done the shopping. A lot of these staples I already have, so I talk about buying in bulk and how useful and you know, cost effective it is over time. So basically a lot of the staples I continually use I already have on hand. Got the pork, got some fresh veggies. That step is done on the recipe. Everything is on that recipe, is in front of me or ready to go somewhere else in the kitchen. So first step is done and we got a lot of cooking to do. This is going to be a fun one. I hope you enjoy this video. Thank you for watching. Let's get started. Okay, first up we're going to get our pork cut up into 1-inch pieces. So I have a pork sirloin roast here. And a lot of my recipes, you'll notice, I do about half of what the recipe is that you're going to be provided, and that's only for the video purposes. But this is about a 1 1/4 pounds of pork loin roast. So we're going to cut this up into 1-inch pieces. And then we want to marinate our pork, so we're going to add some olive oil, balsamic vinegar, some fresh garlic, Italian seasoning, black pepper, sea salt. And we'll really mix this really good. And we want to let this marinate for about 45 minutes. And then next up we'll cut up our veggies for our kebabs. So I've already cut these in half and I've already gotten rid of the inside. So what I want to do is I want to cut our veggies up into similar pieces as the pork. So I'm just going to slice the ends off and get rid of that middle part and then cut off a little bit of that inner part. And then we'll just cut these into 1-inch pieces. If they're not exact, you don't have to be exact, but just similar pieces to the pork. And the same with this red onion. I've already peeled it, cut it in half, rinsed it really good. I'm just going to cut it directly in half and then I'm going to cut inch pieces. And then kind of pull them together in groups of 2. And then we'll cut up some zucchini into approximately 1-inch pieces. They don't have to be exact. And then we'll cut up some squash. And then lastly, we'll chop up some fresh parsley for a garnish on top of these kebabs. Okay, these skewers, I'm using an indoor grill today, so I won't necessarily have to soak these overnight, but if you're using an outdoor grill, you want to soak your skewers overnight in water because the flare-up of the fire will burn them too bad. So that's the first step you want to do the night before you're going to do these skewers. Another thing is be careful using the tips of these things. They're pretty sharp. I definitely wouldn't have the kids help out with this. Have them help out cooking them or cutting, you know, helping maybe cut up a few of the veggies, but be careful using these skewers. And then we'll just take our pork and we'll thread it onto the end, and again, be careful doing this. thread the pork down, and then we'll just alternate vegetables. So the pork will go first, and then maybe a zucchini. And we want to go in alternated colors, so I just used a yellow and I'll use a red now. And then use a purple. And then back to pork. Okay, we got the kebabs done. So, you know, sometimes it varies on how the size of the roast you cut up, and the size, you know, the zucchini could be different sizes, the squash could be different sizes. So it's important that you note that you may have one extra kebab, or you might have some extra vegetables that you didn't use. And it's important that if you do, you have to cook those off or discard them, because there's probably going to be some cross-contamination after you've made these kebabs with those veggies. So we've got these done, and now they're ready for the grill, and some really nice colors going on there. And then what I've done is I've pre-sprayed my pan here, my indoor grill. So I'm going to go ahead and get these going, and we're going to put them crossways so we can get some nice cross marks on these. Okay, it's been about 7 minutes now. I'm going to go ahead and get these a flip, and they should have nice color on this side, and we'll just flip them over so that they can continue cooking on the other side. Okay, it's been about 14 minutes total, so for this grill, it's about 7 minutes per side. Again, it depends on how hot your grill is and how small your veggies or meat was cut. So I'm going to remove this to a serving platter here. And then once on our serving platter, we'll squeeze a little bit of fresh lime juice on top. And actually the lime juice is kind of like gonna hold the parsley that we're going to put on here. And we'll sprinkle some parsley for nice garnish, a little bit of color to finish off the dish. That does it for this recipe, and you know, a lot of fun doing stuff like this for me, because I really take a huge interest in what I do. I love to cook. I've loved to cook since I was a little boy, about 7 years old, and I started very young. So you know, if you have youngsters in your family, you know, get them exposed to food, get them exposed to hands-on food. And you know, one of the best things I love doing in my business is working with kids. And there's some kids that were 5 years old that were starting to saute stuff with me, and their eyes were like this big. So you know, the earlier we expose our kids to cooking and hands-on cooking, you know, who knows, they might become, you know, native chefs as well. So you never know. Or they'll have those tools that they get older that they'll remember when they go out on their own, they'll be able to cook for themselves. This recipe, I really enjoyed doing this one. I enjoy the flavors of it. Again, it's a low sodium diet. It's a low carb or low sodium recipe. It's a low carb recipe. Right at the end there, we're replacing salt with some fresh lime juice. And then the parsley adds a nice flavor as well, and then garnish. So again, we talk about how people eat with their eyes. When you bring this visually to somebody, even though it might not have as much salt as they want, visually you have them over half the way of liking it. And who knows, maybe they like a lot of salt and they taste this and they're like, huh, this actually tastes pretty good without all that salt in it, because I taste some of that fresh lime juice. So a really great recipe. This is a nice recipe to take if you're like going to like a barbecue or going to tailgate, or going out to camp for the weekend. You know, cook something like this over the flame. You know, you could prep this ahead of time, put them in storage bags, and have them to go. So had a lot of fun. Just be careful using these skewers. You might find a better way. Like after a while there, I just started stabbing the vegetables with the skewer, and then it helped. Where you got to be careful is putting them on. I've actually punctured my finger with that tip of these one time. So ever since then, I'm very careful, and had a good time. I'm going to go ahead and enjoy a couple of these for dinner, and just relax for the rest of the night. And I appreciate you watching this video. I'm so fortunate and thankful that the Muscogee Creek Nation of Oklahoma has reached out to me to provide my services for your community. I'm just blessed and honored for that. So thank you again for watching. I hope you learned something today, and have a great day and stay safe out there. Miigwech.